Hello and welcome to another edition of Douglasville Impact, our community podcast. I'm Jason Post, and we got a great show again ahead of us today. And joining me again at the table is Mr. Aaron Szarowicz.
Hello. Nice try.
Ms. Tiffany Wallace.
Hi, everyone.
And in our fourth seat this week is Ms. Carolyn Clark with Douglasville C.A.S.T.
Hello.
Right.
Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for coming. We're going to have some fun talking about all the cool things that C.A.S.T is doing in the community. But to kick it off, let's go ahead and cover our super busy news week with Aaron.
Yes, we have one item. So I was shooting for quality over quantity today, and I also wanted to give Tiffany enough time to talk about all of the great events that we have in the month
fall
of October.
Season, y'all.
So, yep, I'm just doing my part, being a good teammate.
Thank you for yielding your time.
Yes, of course. So we'll jump right into it. So our very own, the city's very own Maya Jackson, she is the Planner 1 in the Community Development Department.
Right.
She was a 2019 summer intern as well. So her internship turned into a permanent position. So,
Right.
anyways,
Good for Maya.
she was named Forbes Under 30 Scholar. So she's currently a senior at Georgia State University right now. I think she's studying political science. Sounds right, so I'm going with it.
I like it.
So, yeah, so she was named Forbes Under 30 Scholar. So that was a big deal. I think there was, a pretty extensive
Very cool.
application process. She had a bunch of essays and stuff that she had to write.
Very rigorous indeed.
Yeah. So she was one of 7 students from Georgia State, and then one of about 1,000 students from across the country to be named an Under 30 Scholar. So
What an
that's
honor.
a pretty big
That's
deal.
pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Way to
mean,
go.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So she will attend the Under 30 Summit, the Forbes Under 30 Summit in Detroit at the end of the month. So she'll be there for 3 or 4 days. Serena Williams is going to be there, I guess, and Kevin
Exciting.
Durant, and a bunch of kind of celebrity entrepreneurs and innovators. So
Very nice.
that'll be a big opportunity for her to network and kind of, learn more. So congrats to Maya. We're very proud of her.
Yes,
And
indeed.
keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Very
Our
impressive.
bright and shining
Yeah.
stars
Right,
here at
yeah.
the city of Douglasville.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
So we
Good
actually
piece.
did a special podcast with our interns back in the summer.
yeah,
That's
right.
correct,
And,
yes.
and she was one of our interns that we
She
had
was.
actually on the show. So if you want to meet her, you can go back and watch that episode. She's got a great personality.
Yes.
She's very, very
awesome.
outgoing.
She's awesome.
Huge smile. So yeah, you can tell why she's being recognized. She's excellent employee, excellent outcome from our intern program.
Yes. I
Lots of
think-
good stuff coming out of our internship program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of success stories out of our internship program, so we're happy about that.
And that'll be coming around
yeah.
again, I think, sooner rather than later. They're
Yeah,
they're
I
already
mean-
ramping up for the next round.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it starts recruiting starts in April.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's right around the corner.
Another year.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
it's flying by. So, anyways,
It's October,
right.
everyone. It's October.
Or Hot-tober,
Right.
if you will.
Hot-tober. It's October in Georgia.
Right.
Second summer.
Yes. It's only, 80% humidity outside and
And
90
Hey,
degrees.
she'll get it. Maya will get a chance to experience fall in Detroit when she goes.
That's for
in a
real
few
fall, huh?
weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
If
actually saw that by this time next week, our high will be in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes.
I'm not going to believe it till I see it.
Right. This morning it was rough, that humidity. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Walking
maybe
out
I
the
need
door,
to
you're
change.
like, oh yeah,
Is it June in Savannah?
right, right.
I
No.
wasn't prepared.
It's October.
Yes.
Welcome to fall. That's why the
First
pumpkins
day.
will open. Yeah, they don't last.
Nope,
Yeah.
not at all.
All right, so that's our busy news day, huh?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's an exciting news item.
It is.
We
It's
got
very
just
exciting. Good
one,
feature.
but that's an awesome one. So
it was, yeah. It was
Okay,
great.
Cool.
All right. Start off on a high note.
That's
I
right.
like that.
But we got plenty of events to follow it up because it's October.
It is. 'Tis the fall season. So we'll just jump right in. So on October 2nd, we have Coffee with the Cop. So that is
Tomorrow.
Wednesday, yeah. So Wednesday, October 2nd, Coffee with a Cop at Starbucks on 3875 Chapel Hill Road. That's the one that's in the Kroger?
Inside the Kroger.
Inside the Kroger,
Correct.
Yep. So
Yeah.
that's from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So if you have any questions, concerns, and just want to, hang out with our chief
Yeah, go
and
hang out with Chief
staff.
Sparks and have some
Yeah,
coffee, ask
indeed.
some questions.
He'll be there. Starbucks has great coffee. I know.
Any excuse
I'm a
for
gold member.
coffee. Yeah.
So that is tomorrow, 8 to 11. So if you have time, drop by. So we also will move on to our fall cleanup week and then also the KDB fall recycling. So fall recycling with KDB, it will be at the overflow lot at First Presbyterian Church, and that's from 9 a.m. to 2, and that is Saturday, October 5th. And if you go on our website, you will see all of the items that are being accepted and the ones that are not. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always contact KDB directly, or you can message us at our Facebook page, which is City of Douglasville, GA. If you have any questions. And then following that is our fall cleanup week, and that is from October 7th through the 10th. And pretty much, if you have anything that needs to be recycled, put at your curb on your respective sanitation day by 7 a.m. And no questions asked, they'll pick it up, and you're done. You have done your fall cleaning.
Put it all out.
Solid.
Yeah, can't beat it. Seriously, that is awesome. So, so don't forget Fall Cleanup Week, October 7th through the 10th. Have everything out to the curb by 7 a.m. on your pickup day. October 10th is the PD's Community Enrichment. That's an annual, not annual, but that's a recurring program. So that'll be at Hollis Street. That's from 7 to 9 p.m. And October 12th is the second annual bike ride with the PD, and meet there at 8 a.m. You guys will ride, come back, and then the Fall Festival, also at the PD, will commence. And that is also on the 12th, and that is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It'll be festival games and, stuff for the kids and everything like that, food, vendors, you name it. So October 12th at the PD, that's where you need to be.
Full day at the PD that day.
Absolutely.
Come out and ride a bike and then hang out and eat some food.
Absolutely. And again, all of this information, all of these events are at on our website. And you can also visit us on all of our social pages, Facebook, City of Douglasville, GA, Instagram, City of Douglasville, GA, Twitter, Douglasville Impact, and then our YouTube, which is City TV. And moving on to the last one for this next 2 weeks will be October 19th, and that is Hunter's Harvest at Hunter Park, and that's from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. So if you missed the PD's Fall Festival, we have another one at Hunter's Park. So want to make it fair for everyone to come out and enjoy. So 'tis the season. October 19th, and again, fun for the family and kids, everything, all of the fun fall festivities, you name it. So 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. October 19th at Hunter's Park.
Fall is in the air.
Mhm.
Well, it's and it'll start feeling like it next week.
Yeah.
Is what Carolyn has
Hopefully.
explained to us.
Yes.
She's promised if it doesn't happen, we're going to track her down.
Right,
Right.
indeed. And I'm sorry, I think I misstated. That's Hunter's Harvest. I'm sorry.
Hunter's Harvest.
Yes, Hunter's
Yes.
Harvest at Hunter Park.
At Hunter Park,
Yes.
Hunter's Harvest, and they usually have a whole lot of vendors and stuff out for that one, arts and crafts fun and stuff like
So,
that. So
good things.
that'll be lots of fun activities
Yes.
coming up.
Good things are in store for the next 2 weeks. So come on out.
Plenty of stuff to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Follow
absolutely.
us on social to stay up to date on everything and everything.
Yeah, because we're constantly adding new stuff. There's new stuff coming all the time. We'll get it all on the website, douglasvillega.gov, and you can find anything you need to do. If you're just looking for something to do, we got you covered.
Indeed.
So, especially through October. October gets crazy. And we didn't even get to the end of October.
Just the first 2 weeks. That's enough.
All
Just a little bit.
There's like a whole weekend that's of activities.
Blossoming.
So, yeah, we didn't even get to that. That's just the next 2 weeks. So we'll be back in a couple more weeks to talk about the end of October, which is full of stuff. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Thank you both for all the news and events. So now we're going to go to the end of the table, our fourth seat, and welcome Miss Carolyn Clark with C.A.S.T, which is the Community Alliance for Stage and Theater. So you were basically a local community group, theater
Yes,
group,
a
right?
community theater group.
And you guys have been around for a while.
We have been in Douglasville since 1986.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
And originally we were a part of the Cultural Arts Center, and there was a stage there that we performed on. I was not a part of the group then, so all of this is just secondhand information. But apparently something happened, and the stage was burned in a fire, and so they lost that performance space. And then the group moved over to the plaza and performed on the stage there in the plaza, and they did that for a while, but they wanted to expand and do more. And I know at some point, and I don't know when this was, they also performed in the old courthouse in a space there before the museum went in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just when I started with the city, there was a performance going on there, because that big space in the end, which used to be like the old courtroom and is now all displays, is a great space for it. Actually, it actually is a nice space for putting something on, but that's when it was wide open.
I've been in the museum, and I know what space you're talking
Yeah.
about, and yes, it would have been. And the museum is wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It really is. If you haven't been
So-
to the Douglas County Courthouse Museum,
Yes.
there's all
Yes.
kinds of really cool stuff. We got to do a whole podcast on it because there's really cool stuff in there. Yeah. So,
But-
sorry, we got off
well,
topic
that's
though.
perfectly fine.
We're coming back.
But because there weren't really places to perform proscenium plays
Yeah.
on stage, we started looking at other options and decided that dinner theater would be a good option for us. I know that at one time we performed at several different restaurants that are no longer here in Douglasville. The problem with dinner theater is the large corporate restaurants really aren't good locations.
right.
Correct.
They don't have separate rooms, meeting rooms, and there's, I guess, a really large chain of command there
Yeah,
that you would
they
have
policies
to
and
go
stuff
through.
and
Right. So we look for
approvals. Yeah.
Indeed.
just smaller local restaurants. And by the time I joined the group in 2011, they had found a somewhat unofficial home at the Olive Tree restaurant. And we perform in Villarica most of the time. We perform at the Olive Tree in Hiram. We have been at the Olive Tree over on Thornton Road, but it's much smaller over there. They do have a room, but it's not
Yeah.
it's not an ideal spot.
Sure.
But we generally do 3 full-length shows a year. Most of them are murder mystery, comedy
Okay.
murder
Yeah,
mysteries. They're audience participation.
Great.
So it really is a lot of fun.
That's
A
cool.
lot of
Yeah.
fun. We have people who are regular part of our group now who actually came to see a show. They got to participate as an audience member, and they had so much fun that they just came back and auditioned, and now they're a part of the group.
That's
So
great.
That's really cool.
That is really fun.
it is. We're also a group, we don't pick on people as far as people who participate in
Yeah.
our shows. We know ahead of time what we need, and we will ask people as they come in to be seated, do you want to be a part of the show? And so they know well ahead of time. And some shows, all they do is sit at their seat. They may stand up and answer a question or say something. Other people get to come to the front of the room and take a much more active role in things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of those things that makes a lot of people nervous when they go somewhere and it's audience participation. And then guys will go and go, oh, wait a second.
My husband would never come back.
What exactly am I
They're
participating?
just going to avoid eye contact.
Yes.
Right.
Wait, I'm just
I
gonna.
said my husband would never come back if he got called on.
Yeah.
That would be his last show.
So you guys make it nice and easy. You prepare people. You're not just going to randomly ambush somebody and say, hey.
We do. Usually, the only people we randomly ambush are our cast members who might not be in a show and they're just there attending. And
yeah.
yes, we do ambush them, and we have some who just love it,
Yeah.
and they always have a good time. And if we're picking someone from the audience that's not a part of us, theirs will usually be pretty scripted and whatever they're doing. But our cast members, we kind of let them run free, and it can get crazy
I bet.
at times. We have tried to venture out a little bit more and do some stuff other than just the murder mysteries. We do, dinner theater from our perspective, should be a lot of fun. It should be full of laughs and
Agreed.
a good time. So we don't get into drama things, but we've done some just plain straight comedy, and we're in rehearsals right now for the show that will open later this month, and that's what it is. It's just a straight comedy. And then earlier this year, we did something totally off the chain and did a musical. And
Great.
yes.
Yes.
And there was a lot of skepticism with other parts of our group that could we pull this off? And we actually had someone with a degree in musical theater, and
Well,
that was
that's
the
convenient.
closest
Yeah.
thing to a
Yes.
professional that we had. We had other people.
But it worked out.
It all
worked
worked out, and we had people who should just stick to acting and not singing. They weren't terrible, but
Valiant
it did
efforts.
work
Yes.
out, and the audience loved it. And we always pass out comment cards. We wish more people would fill them out, but we always get some responses, and we had nothing but positive responses. And so we may go there again. It was challenging to do.
That's
the
a totally
musical.
different
Yes,
level.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
I have no
Yeah.
musical background, and I was the
Yeah.
director of the show, so I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just on a logistical, there's a whole different side when you're adding music.
Right. And then you have
To
to have
the
the space to
background.
perform.
Oh, yeah.
It's more physical.
Well, and it was, and we actually did end up with a couple of little choreographed routines for the whole group to do, and we've done a show or two that had a song or two in it, but it wasn't the musical.
Right.
But
Different
this
scope.
one, the story itself was told through the
wow.
music,
Okay.
and so it was a lot of singing and
That's a lot of work.
Fun.
It
yes.
was.
That's a lot of
It
work.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and was it a comedy musical at least?
It was. It was.
Intentionally?
We had to put in some really funny things, and it was always challenging. It was actually the characters all played two roles
Yeah.
because it was set at a high school reunion, a 20-year high school reunion. So they had to play
Right.
their original student roles and
then the
then
adult
20 years later.
Nice.
And so it's hard sometimes and challenging to take these people and make them 20 years younger.
Right.
Yeah, the duality. Yes.
But it was a lot of fun. It had a lot of costume changes. Doing dinner theater in the restaurants, we usually don't have a whole lot. We may have one or two, and so. But this one had a lot of costume changes. They went to the prom. They were at school, and they were at the reunion. So there was a lot of going back and forth, but it was fun. So.
Kept your wardrobe director busy, did you?
The director is the wardrobe director and the props director, and yes, we seem to have more talent than we have backstage help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
'Cause everyone wants
so-
to be a star, you know.
There you
Right.
go.
Right.
And I would really encourage men to get more involved in community
Sure.
theater.
Yeah.
It's really challenging because we do have a reading committee, and in fact, we're kind of behind schedule. We should already have our 3 shows picked out for next year. But you have to read scripts always looking for as few men as possible because they just do not get involved
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
So we take a little creative license at times and turn female characters into male characters, or male characters into female characters
Yeah.
if we can, and it works. And we do have a few more men involved, but we don't have a huge amount of turnover, but we have lost a couple of people. We had one of the original founding members of our group who directed and acted and just kind of did everything. He was the president of the group, and he passed away from a heart attack in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Did a
Sorry to
show
hear
on
that.
Sunday night, got up Monday morning, and had a massive heart attack
Wow.
and died
Oh, wow.
instantly. So that was a real setback for us. It kind of
course.
threw us for a while. We weren't sure. We spent most of 2016 regrouping and figuring
Right.
out where do we go
Understandable.
from here.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you plug in with like the high schools or anything like that with their theater departments to try to recruit as they're graduating or anything like
We've
that?
tried to. Most of them have very definite plans,
They do, yeah.
and they go in other directions.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of students that did things with us, but the more involved they get in school, the less time they
Sure.
have available.
Right. That's
We've also found it can be a little challenging if they're not old enough to drive yet.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
normally rehearse at least 2 days a week, possibly 3
Yeah.
days a week. And we all work, most of us do. And so rehearsals are in the evenings, and the ones who don't drive, they need transportation. And so it can be, and we come from all over. We have people who come from the Bremen area. We have one person, just because she loves what we do. She was one of the people who participated and then came back. She lives in Cumming, and she
Wow.
drives.
And she
yes,
comes out.
she comes
Wow.
out. Yes,
Dedication right there.
My
Right.
goodness.
That's
she
right.
attended one of our shows with a friend and wanted to participate and had such a great time. And she came back and auditioned, did a show with us, went to Cumming, auditioned there, did a show in Cumming. Now she's back rehearsing for our next show.
Wow,
Wow,
that's
well,
awesome.
kudos
That's
to you
that's
all.
good.
That, that is
Wow.
that is dedication
Yeah,
for
well, I mean
sure.
that says something though.
Yes,
If you got somebody who's
absolutely, yeah.
driving back and forth from coming twice a week to do the
Yes.
rehearsals and stuff, that's it's such an awesome. And that's the thing about theater. You when you're doing those plays, you build that kind of group camaraderie, and you really kind of start feeling like a family at the end of the play. And it's this group of people. So yeah, you want to come back and be involved and stuff like that. It kind of builds that group. So it's really a cool way to just connect with people. So yeah, definitely.
You're right. There is a real bond that forms with people, and if you have a cast that really meshes well together, it's just amazing what you can do. And we try to pick out really funny scripts, but sometimes they're not. But you get a group that works well together, they will turn it into
They'll make it
something
funny.
really. Yes,
Yeah.
they will make it. Definitely, they will make it funny.
And you've got a core group that work together show after show, so they have that they build the chemistry.
Build that camaraderie.
Yes.
You learn to play off of each other, really quickly, right? So when you get a new group of people who have never met, it takes a little time, but since you've got to kind of have this group of cast members that go from show to show, then that's already built in. So
Right, and we've done some shows in the past where we had a lot of new people in a particular show and only a couple of regulars. That gets to be challenging as
Yeah,
well.
right.
One or two new people is better than having a whole cast full.
Brand new cast.
And so we were just talking about that last night at our rehearsal and looking around and realizing that we have, out of a cast of 9, we have 2 who are new to our group, but only one of them who is new to acting. But that's the other thing about our group. Most of us started acting as adults. We don't have this
Sure.
background of
Okay.
going through
Yeah.
school and performing and doing things with the other groups. And we've got a couple of people who've done things with other community theater groups before they moved to this area. But we have people who just saw a show and said, I want to do that. And so,
Right.
and I'm one of those who never did anything until I was an adult.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, but I was always the kid that was like, call on me. And I never really thought about it a whole lot. And then I actually started with Toastmasters, speaking in
sure.
Toastmasters,
Sure,
yeah.
and just
Indeed,
loved
yeah.
Toastmasters, and then had the opportunity to do some stuff with my church, and I was like, okay, I love this,
And you found your tribe.
That's awesome.
You found your tribe of creatives.
Yes, I did, and I prefer the acting end of it, but I am the president, and I've ended up being more a director than an actor because that's another area we don't have a lot of people. is
Sure.
We always need directors. And you ask about the schools. We've tried to to get a lot of tech help from them, but it doesn't. It just hasn't worked out for us to get a lot of help in because teenagers are just busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They are really busy.
Yeah.
So-
Oh
a
yeah.
lot going
Especially
on.
now.
Right.
Yeah, they've got stuff going on all the time. So you're mostly adults in the group and stuff like that. So
Yes, we're mostly adults. We have worked with some teenagers. We haven't really worked with children at all. And most of our shows, sometimes we give a disclaimer that they are PG, and they really are there, but we recommend older teens and up as far as being in the
Makes sense.
audience. Kids
Yes.
aren't going to understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
Even younger teens sometimes won't necessarily understand some of the jokes, just some of the innuendo that's there. And for little kids, 3 hours is a long time
It
to
is.
sit.
It is.
Right.
Yes.
So-
I
Just
have
at
to
a
find a
meal, I mean,
babysitter
yeah.
for that evening.
Yes.
That's a date night.
Yes.
Yeah, it actually
Parents'
sounds like
night
an awesome
out.
date night, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that
parents'
would be
night
great.
out.
Well, and that's usually what we
Yeah.
tell people. We work a lot of the events here. We do Taste of Douglasville, and we'll hand out flyers. We've actually been on stage. We were on stage this year for Taste of Douglasville, and so, and that's usually what we tell people. It's a great date night, great special occasion, girls' night out, and we get lots of groups of people that'll be 5 or 6 ladies in a group, or we get lots of couples together. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. That sounds awesome, actually. So you got some stuff coming up then, maybe that we can plan our date
Well,
night stuff
we
around, right?
we do.
Indeed.
We are working on a show right now. The name of it is "If the Good Lord's Willing and the Creek Don't Rise."
I like the
And,
name.
Well, it's a straight comedy, and it's a really funny story, and it's one of these shows that we turned the character from a male to a female. And when I read the script, I actually said, this is a perfect role for Cindy Crawford. We actually have a performer named Cindy Crawford.
Oh,
We
wow.
got her.
She's
There's
an
some name
audience
recognition right
favorite.
there.
Absolutely.
Well, everybody loves Cindy. Lots of people recognize her now. We tease her. She has a fan club, and we do have a lot of return people who just strictly word of mouth. But Cindy's a good ambassador for our group. But in this particular show, she plays the role of Doc Babcock, who is a retired judge. Doc's husband passed away, and she retired immediately from the bench and decided she was just going to enjoy life. And so she has a hot air balloon. She just has all these fun things that she does. She has some teenagers who do theater at school, and they come and hang around. She has a school teacher who comes and hangs around, a school bus driver. So she's got all these kind of wacky characters who hang around, and then she has a daughter. A daughter who has decided that mom has lost her marbles and that she needs to take over and sell the house and sell the property and be in charge of all the finances. So she has now found her a shyster lawyer to help her do this. And they have a psychologist who comes out to do a report on the Doc Babcock and all of her issues because she's lost her marbles. And
the battle royale doth
yes.
ensue.
Well, it doesn't take very long that the psychologist becomes one of these wacky people hanging around. But
her cast of characters.
But and so it's just real funny, some of the things they get into, and it's been a lot of fun creating the set for this show because we're real good customers at Goodwill, but we're just like
Yeah.
anything you've got at your house that looks crazy, bring
take it.
and
Thank
it fits in Doc's house. So that will be a lot of fun. And that show opens. We normally open on Saturdays. But we did have a conflict with one of our performers, so we kind of adjusted the schedule. But we'll open on Sunday, October the 20th, at the Olive Tree in Villa Rica.
Okay.
We'll be there the following weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then the following weekend, which is Saturday, November the 2nd, we move to the Hiram Olive Tree, and we'll be there Saturday and Sunday. Then we go back to Villa Rica on November the 9th for one more Saturday show, and then the final show will be at the South Cobb Diner on Sunday, November the 10th.
Wow.
And we normally do 6 shows, but this time there's 7, and we typically sell out most of the time.
Okay.
We've learned from experience. Some times of the year don't schedule then because it's not going to happen. We try not
Right.
to schedule around holidays.
Right.
Sure.
Makes sense. Yes.
And school starting and school
Yeah.
getting out.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so we usually do sell out most of the shows, stretching it to 7. We're just waiting to see what happens this time. But the Saturday shows all start at 7 o'clock. Doors open at 6:30. We encourage people to not come till 6:30, but that doesn't happen. They'll start showing up at 5:30.
Sure.
But one
Are
of
you
the
guys open? And like, no, not quite.
and one of the things that they don't know ahead of time that we learn from experience, all of the seating is assigned. We have a seating chart. We
Okay.
know where you're going to be sitting
Good
when
deal.
you get there, because when you have X number of chairs, every seat's going to be filled. And if you have got a party of 3 and a party of 6 and a party of 5, if you just let them pick their own seats,
Right.
next thing you know, you're like, you're going to have to move. There's not
Yep.
enough room
There's
in
Nobody
this
fit.
Right.
table.
Everybody didn't fit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do
Indeed.
work it all out ahead of time. So there's no reason to show up early. People get there.
We've
We
got it
think they
covered.
think they'll get a better seat.
Right.
And so they'll get there really early sometime. But doors open 30 minutes ahead of the shows. Most of our Sunday shows have started at 4, but Hiram has asked us to start at 3. So when we're in Hiram
Okay.
on that
Amazing.
Sunday, November 3rd, we'll be starting at 3 o'clock. And then the South Cobb Diner, we won't start until 7 on that Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay.
and a lot of that's just logistics
Yeah.
from
Right.
the
Sure.
restaurant and what works
You're working
best
around
for
their
them.
schedule.
So
Yeah.
And where can people buy tickets?
they can buy tickets at any one of the restaurants.
Okay.
They can buy tickets online on our website, which is just castplays.com. Or they can call our box office, which is 770-646-8031. And they can order them there. And that's a live box office, so they may get a voicemail, but she will call you back. And if they leave a message, and I think that's how it works, and say that they're buying tickets.
Good.
But
And so that's the Olive Tree locations in both Villa Rica and Hiram.
Yes.
And then the South Cobb Diner.
yes.
Got it.
South Cobb Diner. That's downtown Austell.
Yes, and all of our venues, we work great with them. We're always looking for new venues, and like I said, we do 3 big shows a year, but we're also available. We've done some corporate parties, and with the holidays coming up, we're always available to do that. The other things we do some one-act festivals, and we usually do those in the summertime, but we're like I said, we've done Taste of Douglasville, and been on stage for that, and we've got a couple of little shows that we can just kind of pull out. That's almost the only time we ever do any drama is in the one acts, and
Yeah.
we usually try to do at least 3, and we'll start out with a comedy, put a drama in the middle, and then stick another comedy at the end.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Very fine.
And that's been successful. We've actually got some really talented performers, and we tend to think of them, oh, they're funny, they do this funny stuff, and then you give them a serious
Yeah.
role,
And they blow it away.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Love
can
it.
just be riveting.
Yeah. That's always
So-
amazing when you've got somebody who's just like a normal funny guy or funny character, and you see them in a dramatic role. And you're like, whoa.
Like they've got
That's
some
always
acting
impressive
chops
to me.
there. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, it's also surprising sometimes. One of our performers, I've known him for many, many, many years, and he's very quiet, and he is not the person that's out initiating conversations
Right.
and just, the life of the party
Oh, yeah.
or anything like that. He's just always really, really quiet and reserved person. And you put him on the stage, and you never know. He will start improvising. And I will have to say, a few years ago, I was in a show with him, and this is the only time anything like this ever happened. I was sitting down, and we don't do a lot of sitting because in dinner theater, people don't see if you're sitting.
Yep.
Right.
But I was
Right.
sitting down. I was supposed to be the judge, and that's the only reason I was sitting. And I literally had to lay my head on the table. I was laughing so hard. And, of course, people weren't really looking at me. They were looking
Right.
at
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
But it's just amazing to see what happens to him when he's performing.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
he's a different person.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because
Very
it's not
cool.
him. He's in a
Yeah,
character.
He's
He's
a
in
character.
Because it's the
Right.
same. I'm a very introverted person. If I'm just out talking, and I get real, like the same way, until you get on stage, then it's not you. So people aren't judging you; they're judging the character. It's a lot easier that way. It's freeing because you get in there and you're somebody else.
Yes.
So
And then your
people-
alter
yeah,
ego can.
yeah.
Yes.
Then you
Take
can just
over.
kind of let it go. You'll get that a lot in theater, actually. It's surprising because you think everybody up there on stage is just this kind of outgoing, extroverted person.
True.
And
Because
then you
that's
meet
the
them,
character
yeah,
that they
because
see on
that's what you
stage.
see. And then
Right.
you get them backstage, and no, they're really quiet, kind of.
I'm just normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's so
Normal
much
me.
easier when you're somebody else. Even if you're like public speaking as yourself is a lot harder to me than being on stage as a character. Because
I would agree
yeah,
with that.
because when you're the character, it's not you. People aren't judging you.
Yeah.
When you're just
Gotcha.
speaking as you, then that's you up there. No, I'd
Gotcha.
much rather be in a character. Yeah, so that's always fun. Yeah, it's interesting. So
It is.
yeah,
And with dinner theater and being that character, that's one of the things we coach people on. And we do have a few people who have acted before, but they've never done dinner theater. And it is very different
Yeah.
because when you're on the stage, the audience is out there.
It's a bit more
But dinner
removed.
theater, they're right there.
yeah.
And so we tell people from the minute the door opens and the first guest walks in, you are that character.
Yeah.
It
You're
doesn't
on.
matter
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's your mom and your dad or your
Yes.
husband or your wife. You aren't you anymore. You are now this character, and you stay that character until the final curtain call and the show is over. And so that's kind of fun sometime. And
Yeah.
we usually mingle with the audience before the show starts. During the breaks, we do not perform while people are eating. And
Okay.
we strictly take, and the restaurant wanted it that way, and it really does work easier. You don't have all that sound
Yeah.
Yes.
of
Clanking
knives and
of
forks
knives
clicking
and
on
forks
plates.
and
So,
stuff. Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah.
and people are not distracted. So we encourage you to get comfortable, turn your chair around,
Turn your phones
and
off.
That's always about turn your
Please.
phones off.
Right.
Turn your phones
Well,
off.
and we usually ask people as much as possible to try to limit bathroom breaks to the actual breaks of the
Exactly.
show, because if you get up and start moving around, you will become a part of the show.
You've been forewarned.
Right.
Usually
Right.
keeps them in their chair.
Because mostly we do what is called theater in the round, which means we have a set, but it's not a stage.
Right.
We will be moving all around through the tables, and
it.
so if you get up and start moving around, you're now a part of the show.
We're bringing you into the fold.
Yes.
Welcome.
Right.
And we don't have a lot of phones ringing. We did have a lady that went into labor during one of
Oh,
our
wow.
shows.
Oh, wow.
And her whole group had to get up and
Wow.
exit.
Wow.
How many people thought it was part of the act?
Probably a lot.
Wow, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's convincing.
Yeah. Right.
She's really in character. It's like, yep, all the way
That
to
pregnant lady
Wellstar.
was so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, so I mean, it's a great thing. So you guys are we talk about arts in the community a lot. It's a big initiative that we're talking about a lot. So you guys, this is a form of art that you guys
Yes.
help bring to our community. So performing arts is definitely a big art that you're offering. to our community. So as a community theater group, what do you guys need? So you mentioned if you're a restaurant and you've got like, what do you look for in a restaurant, a space, if you're ever looking for new space? You need like a separate room?
A separate room where it can be totally closed off and enough. Our smallest crowds usually probably at least 36 people. In Hiram, we've had as many as 80 people. That's a little bit large for the room.
Yeah.
At the South Cobb Diner, bless their hearts, we love them. The first show, we went in and said, we think we can put 60 people here, 62 people. They sold 79 tickets.
Whoa.
And so it was very challenging to figure out how we're going to do this. So we have to look for a space. We try not to have huge sets, but sometimes we do. I'm the guilty party as a director. I'll say, no, we need this, we need this, we need this.
The creative.
So, Carolyn, we have to set this up and break this down 6 times.
Yeah, right.
Well, exactly. That gets challenging, but we like to have enough space to set up some sort of set and have 40 people or so and be able to move in and around the tables. We try to stay out of the food end of the business entirely. We know that there's other venues that are available, but the meal has to be catered in. We've tried that a time or two, and it didn't work out exactly the way we wanted it to. And just producing the show itself is very involved without having to get into the food part of it.
Yes.
So that's why the restaurants themselves do best. We have a set amount. Tickets are $36 plus tax for all our shows. That includes the full meal, all non-alcoholic drinks, and the gratuity. So if you're not drinking,
that's a good deal.
That's a very good deal.
Exactly. A lot of people don't look at it that way, but if you go into town, you're going to pay a lot more.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely you will. Yeah.
And so it's an evening of entertainment and a really good meal. And so if you're not drinking alcohol, once you buy that ticket, you've paid for everything.
Yeah.
And of course, we do encourage people to drink, even though there's that focus. They have more fun. They laugh a lot more.
Loses them up a little bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
but there can be that fine line of, well, now you've had too much. And
Know your limits, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
We did have a participant who couldn't walk back to their chair, so we don't want you to
Maybe too much, yeah.
Don't be that.
And then we did have a show where one of our performers had to turn around to the whole table and go, "Y'all be quiet," because they were just getting louder and louder by the minute. So, but it's a lot of fun, and working with the restaurants, we tell them right up front. We've been with the Olive Tree so long, like I said, they're kind of our unofficial home. So we don't have to basically do anything but say, these are the dates, what's in the book, and they take care of everything else.
Sure.
It was a little more work with a new venue, but we say, this is what we get per ticket, this is what you get. So it's up to the restaurant to come up with a meal and how they want to serve it. The Olive Trees do buffet, and actually so did South Cobb Diner. And originally, when I started in 2011, they just did a limited menu, so they printed it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then that required a lot of more time because they had to serve the meals.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now they do the buffet, and it works a lot better.
Nice.
Sounds awesome now.
Yep.
All right, so you're looking for space and good food.
Yes.
That's pretty much what you're looking for in a
Yes.
facility. So
Yes.
all right, you got me at the good food. And then on the other side, cast members. So if you're looking for, if anyone has any inkling or if they're just kind of curious.
Auditions, right.
So
We try to have a business meeting every other month. We used to try to do every month, and there just didn't seem to be a whole lot to say every month. So we try to do it every other month, and we've been doing Tuesday nights. I don't have the schedule for the next one. It almost invariably we end up getting off schedule because we've got rehearsals going on.
Sure.
And it's very important that we have rehearsals, and so we've tried to figure out how to squeeze in the meetings as well. So, but our website, in fact, we've just redesigned it. There's parts of it that aren't even up yet. We don't have our gallery of pictures there yet, but eventually all of that will be there. But there's definitely enough information about who we are and what we do. And so, and we have a Facebook page. And so we do put everything on our Facebook page. We do some email blast, but they're always, the only thing we do for email is audition notices and show notices and meeting notices. Other than that, you'll never hear from us. And so
Nice.
I know some people are like, I'm not giving anybody else my email.
Exactly.
But we're not, though, you will not open. Now, during showtime, you may get 2 a week advertising a show, but once that show's over with, like I said, you may not hear from us for 2 months or more. And so, but we always encourage people at the shows. We have sign-up sheets. We get email addresses. You can put right on your little comment card that you would like to be a part of our group. We can always use any kind of help, not just talent, but backstage help
Sure,
as well.
sure.
Directors, technical people who are don't mind shopping at Goodwill, and they can go and help
Yeah.
shop for costumes and
Scour the thrift
Set designers
stores.
are important.
That's right.
yes, they are.
Indeed.
And we would love to have big fancy sets, but that doesn't happen. We have stage curtains, and so our doors are openings in the curtains, and
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little pipe
No,
and
you
drink.
get creative.
Well,
Absolutely.
we actually have a staircase in this show that we're working on
fun.
now,
Yeah.
and Cindy Crawford borrowed one.
Our
We were
very
like, how
own.
are we gonna? And like I said, I'm the director who's always going, okay, we've got to come up with a staircase. We can build it. What are we gonna do? And so next thing I know, Cindy's like, I found a staircase, and she borrowed it, and it's 3 steps, and it will just go into an opening
Yeah.
in the curtain.
Yep.
Perfect. Love it.
And so
Nice.
we make do, and it always works.
Yeah, indeed.
Wow.
So you're always looking for new cast members. If anyone has ever, if you were in plays in high school and haven't done anything since, or if you're just curious, or have ever been curious about doing some acting, this is your opportunity to come get involved, right? So that'd be
Yes, and I
Yeah.
never mind if people want to just come sit in rehearsals.
Yeah, just hang out.
and watch us.
People don't know until they get up there, and then it
Exactly.
kind of
And
bites
what's
you,
the
and you're like,
website address again?
It's castplays.com.
And that's CASTPLAYS.com.
Yes, and our
.com.
Facebook page is Cast Plays. It may say Douglasville on the end, but I think it's just Cast Plays on Facebook.
okay,
Awesome.
excellent. Well,
Good
that
job.
sounds awesome. Sounds like we got some date nights to plan. So,
Well, we would love to have y'all there.
yeah, I think so. That'll be really cool. So, and I love all the restaurants you mentioned, so it's easy for me.
It's a no-brainer.
Well, anything else about cast that we need to talk about before we wrap up? I think that's amazing. I love what you guys are doing in the
Well,
community.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And
No, thank
we're-
you.
Yeah.
This is really great.
We're just excited about it. We just want more people to know about us because we've been around a long time. And so we are a very diverse group. And so we're always open for anybody to join us. And we just love to have y'all there and see y'all in our shows.
Good deal.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well,
Excellent.
thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about
Yes.
what you guys are doing, and hopefully we'll all kind of show up at the next set of shows and stuff. So thank
Yeah.
you, Carolyn.
Indeed.
Thank you guys for telling us all about the news and events. Thank you to everybody joining us at the table.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone watching and listening, and until next time, y'all have a great week.